I knew I had a history of hemophilia that ran in my family. So I was kind of nervous to start talking about kids with somebody. My name is Ashley Hall.
My name's Trey Hall.
And this is Harrison
Hall.
Liam, and Maverick.
Maverick.
And this is our story. We met in EMT school. We eventually wanted to take things serious. We didn't end up pursuing EMT school. We went different paths because we knew we wanted to start a family and get married. And we started with Liam. He was born in 2016. Well, I ended up having to have an emergency C-section because I went into labor early and he was breech. They actually stuck him in the artery when they tested him. We always said, thank God he did not have hemophilia because, it would have just been bad. A couple years later, we wanted to try again, probably for a girl. Well, we had our second boy, so I had an amniocentesis done. We knew that he was going to have hemophilia from the amnio, so we did not want them to do any sticks or anything. I kept him by my side.
Yeah, we had signs on his crib, no sticks. We took him home and then everything was good. When he was around probably a year is when he got his first little injury. He was starting to walk. He falls, hits his head on the tile, and then his head just starts swelling. We were able to treat him. A couple months later, we ended up getting a port put in, so we wouldn't have that issue again.
So that was our biggest incident with him, and that's when it started it all, and that's when we knew, we got to be careful with these kids. We thought we'd try one more time.
Try to see if we can get that girl.
And we had another little boy.
He threw a huge curve at us because he came 5 weeks early.
Yes.
So we didn't have signs in this time, so.
But I figured since we had Harrison at this hospital and, they had delivered a hemophilia baby, obviously. They had notes, we had our amnios done, everything was still set in stone. The plan never changed on how to treat them. We just thought everything was gonna be okay. We kind of let our guard down. He came straight out the gate with bruises on his face, all over his body. I was laboring for quite a while before they decided to do a C-section again. I was losing so much fluid, he was just bouncing around in there. But he came out screaming, his lungs were super healthy. He was 5 pounds, 15 ounces, just a beautiful little boy. Had a few bruises on him, but other than that, he was perfectly fine and healthy. He tested positive for Coombs when he was born. So they wanted to check his levels frequent, and they said that they can get it through a vein. And they actually stuck him not once, but in both arteries. He was gone for hours. And I was recovering from C-section. I was on medicine, I was in and out of it. They come pushing him in the room with bandages wrapped on his little wrist, so tight. So I knew.
Yeah, we knew they did, for some reason they did arterial sticks on him.
Yeah, they were.
Right before they took him, we said, whatever you do not do an arterial stick. It's the only thing you can't do to him. And it's the only thing they did do to him. No venous sticks, nothing, just straight artery.
Whoever did it dug around multiple times because it caused multiple holes in one of the arteries. It caused a massive arm bleed. They discharged us from the hospital.
We didn't know. Like I said, looking at him, it was bruised, which could be expected. But we went home, and it was about 9 days probably. We were at home, and his whole arm was just swollen, from his elbow down. It was swollen, and it was just hard as a rock. And that's when we were like, we gotta take him into the big hospital up here.
Just because I knew something was wrong, I wanted Factor right away. There was worry, about inhibitors. They didn't want to give it at first, and It's just a mom feeling like when you know something's wrong, you know something's wrong.
So while we were at the big hospital, they decided that we need to see what's going on in this arm. So they did a ultrasound on it. So they admitted us, and we were there for, 3 months almost?
Nobody knew how to stop it when he first had this. That's when I started reaching out to the community because something had to be done. Because we would go to the hospital, they would factor him up, we'd go home, it would swell again a few days later. We'd go up there, it'd come back home, and it was just not getting any better. His arm was just essentially bleeding the whole time, and the only thing that was kind of keeping it at bay was factoring him.
He ended up getting 2 central lines put in while we were there.
He had a procedure done. He was put to sleep multiple times.
I was out of vacation time at that point, so I would try to go to work a day here or something, but then I would have to rush back up there because something else was going on. And
my friend, from the hemophilia group online, she said, why don't you maybe reach out to Hope and see if they can do anything. And at that point, like I said, we were using up all our funds, time off of work. We were running out of everything because, just because you're in the hospital, life does not stop. It keeps going. The bills keep rolling. Hope reached out and they sent me care packages in the hospital, and it helped to make things a little lighter on my stay because it was really depressing being there every day and seeing your baby scream in pain and get stuck over and over. Another thing that they did was they helped us take the load off by paying our mortgage. That was one thing we didn't have to worry about.
That was a burden off of me for sure because I was out of vacation time. Savings, we were going through that like crazy. And when she told me that our mortgage would be covered for the month, it definitely took a big load off of me.
It's like there was some light at the end of that tunnel. I could see that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, it was dark, and we had a glimpse of light right then.
We still are in the dark about a lot of stuff. His arm is weaker than the other. It had a lot of trauma to it. If anything, this whole experience has taught me is just being the biggest advocate and the biggest fighter, because babies can't speak, but their mamas can.
If you know your kid has a bleeding disorder, advocate. They need it because they don't have that voice.
It's like you feel like a broken record, like trying to tell them about hemophilia, and it should not be like this.
Well, when we went to EMT school, it was a paragraph on hemophilia, and that was it. That was
something has to change.
And that was the extent of the knowledge for hemophilia. And it's like now we just kind of take charge when, when they are in the hospital. We're like, no, you're doing this, and that's it. Anything else, you better talk to us first.
When Susie from Hope reached out to me, it just felt like we were not alone, and she actually did care about, somebody that she had never met before. When she talked to us, it's like we had been talking forever. It was just so authentic, and it's a nice feeling just knowing that there are people out there for you. And that was Hope for us.